So, here we are again. The latest, greatest, all-new Giant TCR road bike. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. So in this episode I will give you the buyer's guide specifically for this Giant TCR Advanced Zero road bike, and I will also make a comparison with two main competitors in my opinion. So let's kick off. As you know, recently Giant has presented their latest Giant TCR road bike. This is the 10th generation of the Giant TCR, and it's an absolute legend when it comes to the road bikes in kind of any offering. So we can always first answer the question, who is this bike for? So as you see, Giant TCR is a proper lightweight climbing machine. Yes, it's gonna be stiff, and yes, in this iteration of the bike they have incorporated some aerodynamically optimized features, specifically on the frame, on the fork, and some other smaller components like handlebar and the stem. But generally, always keep in mind, if you are interested in lightweight climbing bike, then definitely Giant TCR should be shortlisted and should be almost at the top of your list. When you look at the paint scheme on this specific Giant TCR Advanced Zero, there is only one paint scheme on offer. It is beautiful, kind of metallic light blue going onto the metallic silver with a hint of black, so very classical paint scheme. And I will just mention here that I wish that the Giant would offer at least another paint scheme offer on this bike. When you consider the retail price of $4,700 for this bike, it's definitely not a cheap bike anymore, and specifically because this Giant TCR Advanced range is the lowest of all the TCRs. So basically this is the third level of the carbon fiber frame and the fork that Giant can do, because above this model you have the TCR Advanced Pro and then you have the TCR Advanced SL. So okay, we can now talk about this carbon fiber frame and the fork. So you will get the Giant's TCR Advanced carbon fiber frame and also Giant's TCR Advanced carbon fiber fork. Giant's carbon fiber frames comes with lifetime warranty, which is absolutely excellent, and this frame is with the press fit bottom bracket, and also you have 12mm through axles both front and the back on this bike. When you look at some of the smaller components, you will get the Giant's carbon fiber seat post and also the Giant own saddle. Since saddles are always a personal preference, you might easily decide to replace this saddle with something that you really like. It's super easy, nothing special here. And also when it comes to the handlebar and the stem, this is the Giant's own contact handlebar and the stem. These are aluminum pieces, totally fine, no problems here. And also what is good is that these are separate pieces, so nothing is proprietary here. It's going to be easy to adjust your position on the bike, and also in the future, if you are replacing something, very easy to find some replacement or upgraded parts. As you see on this TCR Advanced carbon fiber frame and the fork, all the cables are internally routed, and they have been nicely done here because the cables are going kind of under the handlebar, under the stem, and then into the frame. So at least it's going to be a bit easier to work on this, or your local bike mechanics will definitely appreciate it and love you. So now let's talk about the group set that you will get on this bike. So this specific TCR Advanced Zero comes with the Shimano 105 Di2 electronic group set. So shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano 105 Di2. It is a 12-speed electronic group set, works perfectly fine. There's absolutely no complaints here from me, and just keep in mind that with Shimano Di2 group set, the rear mech and the front mech are connected with a cable, and the battery sits in the seat tube. So this is just like a general stuff with the Shimano's Di2 electronic group set. Also with this bike you will get the Shimano 105 cassette, and this is a beautiful 1134 range cassette, and you will have the Shimano's 105 crankset in this instance. Unfortunately, there is no power meter here. Giant didn't include it on this kind of entry-level bike, if I can call it like that. This would be some nice addition to this bike, in my opinion. Also, the chain you will get on the bike is the KMC X12 chain, 12-speed chain. No problems with that, because you might have, gone with the Shimano 12-speed chain, but KMC chains are perfectly fine and work excellent. Also, when it comes to the braking system on this bike, you will get the Shimano's 105 hydraulic disc brakes, both front and the back. And in this instance, they are using the Shimano RT70 braking rotors, perfectly fine, nothing special here. And also, I will just mention that the front braking rotor, as you can see, is 160 millimeters, while the rear one is a tiny 140 millimeters braking rotor. I wish that Giant has here included the 160mm braking rotor at the back, just because of better heat dissipation and stopping power, and this is something in the future I would definitely advise you to change, to put the 160mm braking rotor also on the back. Now let's talk about the wheelset on this bike, because I believe it's definitely a secret sauce and an excellent addition to this bike. As I said, when you consider, the retail price is $4,700, which is a bit on the higher side, it is very good that the wheelset is a carbon fiber wheelset from Giant. So this is their SLR2 carbon fiber wheelset. If you are buying it on the open market, retail price is $480 for the front and $565 for the rear wheel. Roughly speaking, let's call it, $1,100. So some of the highlights are, as I was mentioning, it is a carbon fiber wheelset. In this instance, tubeless ready, and in this instance also it is a hookless rim. So you have to be careful with this one, because there are certain tires which are going to be compatible with the hookless rims, specifically the width of the tire, and also you gotta be a bit careful with the pressures you are running on these hookless rims. Everything is nicely explained on the Giant website, so all these specifications of the tires, tire width, tire pressures, so just be careful with that when it comes to these hookless, tubeless rims. This rim height is 36 millimeters and the inner rim width is 22.4 millimeters. This wheelset comes with the Giant own hubs, specifically sealed cartridge bearing hubs, and also at the back you have the 32-tooth 3-pole drive system, basically based on the famous DT Swiss 3-pole system. I will also mention here that the wheelset is of course 12mm through axles front and the back, using SAPIM spokes and the aluminum spokes, which is perfectly fine, and the total weight of the wheelset is 1,535 grams. Excellent in my opinion, and you also get a nice 2 years warranty on this wheelset from Giant. So all in, great addition to this bike, since you are getting a carbon fiber wheelset from Giant SLR2 wheelset. So now, as I was mentioning, this Giant TCR Advanced Zero has a retail price of $4,700. Giant is unfortunately no more, the best value for money bikes you can buy. They are increasing their prices, and this $4,700 can also get you some interesting bikes from competitors. So for example, I believe that one of the main competitors should also be the bike from Scott, which is the Scott Addict RC30 road bike, and specifically here you are getting the Scott's HMX carbon fiber frame in the fork, again with the press fit bottom bracket. The group set on this bike is a fully wireless SRAM Rival ETAP group set. Absolutely no cables here. This is a 12-speed group set with the SRAM Rival chainring and also SRAM Rival cassette and the chain, and the hydraulic disc brakes are also SRAM Rival. I will just mention here that we have a 160mm braking rotor at the front and also 160mm braking rotor at the back, which is absolutely excellent, and these are classical SRAM Paceline braking rotors. Of course, some of the smaller components will include the carbon fiber seat post from Syncross, and also in this instance you are having an aluminum handlebar and the stem, again separate pieces, which is excellent. And as I was mentioning, there is no cables on this bike because everything everything is a fully wireless group set. Only the hydraulic cables from the brakes are running again all internally. Everything is hidden here. I will just mention here that this Scott Addict RC30 comes with the Synchros aluminum wheel set with some kind of classical seal cartridge bearing hubs, and I believe that the tires on this bike are also some kind of Scott in-house brand tires. Let me just double check this. So as I'm seeing the tires are from Schwalbe 1 tire, front and the back, 28mm tires, which is absolutely excellent, good air volume in this instance, and Scott has nicely given the total bike weight of 8.3 kilograms, I'm guessing for some kind of size medium. And the retail price, I forgot to mention, of this bike is $5,000, so you see about $300 more expensive than the Giant bike. And definitely, you know, one of the biggest differences is that Scott Addict RC30 doesn't come with the carbon fiber wheel set like you would get on the Giant. So this is a bit, you know, more expensive than the Giant TCR bike. Also, another competitor you have to have a look at is always, you know, Canyon, and specifically in this instance Canyon Ultimate CF SL7 Di2 road bike, a bit of mouthful of bike names, and the full retail price would be $4,000, but as you see now you can get it for already $3,600, which is absolutely astonishing. And this Canyon Ultimate CFSL7, you have at least two paint schemes on offer. One is this classical, they call it black snow, kind of black and white, and then you have this beautiful deep red with the hint of black. And the highlights of this bike again would include the Canyon carbon fiber CF level carbon fiber frame and the fork. This is again the lowest level of the carbon fiber that the Canyon can do. Here you are also getting a carbon fiber seat post from Canyon and one piece handlebar and stem, which is a carbon fiber piece, but just keep in mind that this is a bit of proprietary piece, so it will definitely limit your future upgrades or your adjustments of the position on the bike. And this bike specifically comes also with the Shimano 105 Di2 electronic group set, so shifters front mech, rear mech, Shimano 105 cassette, Shimano 105 chain, and also Shimano 105 crankset. And in this instance, this crankset also comes with the 4i power meter, which is absolutely astonishing for this price of $4,000. Also fully internally routed cables here with the press fit bottom bracket, and the wheel set on this bike is the DT Swiss P1800 aluminum wheel set with DT Swiss hubs. You know I'm a huge fan of DT Swiss wheels. This aluminum wheel set from DT Swiss is absolutely excellent, but of course you can't kind of measure this wheel set with the carbon fiber wheel set you are getting on the Giant bike. Also, the braking system on this bike is the Shimano 105 hydraulic disc brakes front and the back. You have Shimano's RT70 braking rotors again front and the back, but in this instance at the front 160mm, but at the back only 140mm, which again I really don't understand. I wish that in this instance also Canyon has used 160mm braking rotors at the back. So all in, this Canyon Ultimate CF SL7 at a full retail price of $4,000, of course, would be my first advice to you to go ahead, you know, and shortlist it, or even just go ahead and buy it, because it's just an astonishing price compared to the Giant TCR, or compared specifically to the Scott Addict RC30. But listen, if you have ridden Giant TCR before and you like the way it feels on the road, it climbs lightly, and also with this bike I can't ignore it that you are getting a carbon fiber wheel set from Giant, so then this price of $4,700 isn't so crazy, and definitely you should shortlist this bike if you are in the market for a proper lightweight climbing machine. So this is gonna be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!